this is Latifa, and congratulations. You have been doing this with the Pavilion of Switzerland, Svizzera, and I know you've been working a lot with many different things, and I don't know even all of it, but you're doing sound and architecture. You've been working sort of against the architecture, which is sort of prominent.
It's working against architecture and use also architecture as a main material.
Right.
Bruno Giacometti set a very perfect pavilion for us artists. This is here the courtyard. It was built for the sculptures, and there you have like the spaces for the graphic art. And then in the big room there, it was supposed to be the painting room. So I didn't work against, but I saw that maybe we have to do not follow the materials or the medium, but to follow just the light access of the outside in the building. And it's one of the material I use. So I always say that the architecture is really part of the first material I use to work on that. The book we edited, I chose to put like 3/4 of the book, it's only images of the empty pavilion.
Okay. Yeah. Why is that? Just because the pavilion is amazing, or?
Yeah, it's amazing, but it's also to think about what is a cycle. When I am invited here to do an exhibition, but in the same time, it's just a little moment of the history. It's a few months regarding like dozen and dozen of years of history, and so I wanted to have a very light approach in time, a very light approach also in the ecological impact of the installation I made, and also to really treat this idea of time passing by as a material also. And
and here's where the sound comes in, or?
And that's where the sound comes in. But in the beginning was the sound project. I wanted, like the first image that came to my mind, the first feeling that came to my mind when I did the project is to know or to give the same sensation that after what we feel after a concert. To give back the same feeling to the viewer of this art exhibition.
That's very difficult.
It's kind of difficult because we don't really know what happened. We know what we feel. We feel it, but we don't know what that we feel. And so to understand this beginning question that I had, it took me. I invited Alexandre Babel to work with me, and that is a composer and musician of percussion. And Francesco Stocchi, that is an art historian, a curator in Boijman, and he was also in a former life a DJ of dub music. So I thought that he will understand what moves us after a concert. And so the idea was to understand why I had this intuition in the beginning. So then I came to the thing to understand what's happened after a concert. What is this memory that we are replaying about fragments of the things we saw, about fragments also of sonority that we remember, and what happens when we are in the middle of a crowd together, moving to the same things, and then we go back home, we are alone in the silence, and then we are rethinking about the concert. And then I think that's exactly where the exhibition starts.
Right. Okay. So what the title of the exhibition is?
The Concert.
The Concert. And right. And here it starts with
ashes.
Right. Why is that? You've been burning.
It's really like to reverse also the thing. Why start by a beginning? Maybe we can just start by the end.
Right.
And the idea was to start by the end of things. You arrive, you see everything burned already, damaged, destroyed, and it gives you the feeling that you came after something and maybe you miss it. And then the more you walk, the more you discover that the sculptures are less and less burned. The more you walk into the rooms. And then in the last room you have like the sculptures that are like entire and not damaged, intact. And So this is also, and when you go back, you have the same things but in reverse.
So it's a progression
sense,
and then...
Yeah, back and forwards. And the things that about the layer of time passing and this moment that it's changing, it's switching to another thing. In the day, during the day, you switch when you have a kind of a sunset. This moment when you are passing from the day into the night. And here in the pavilion, I choose to only put this orange foil in all the windows. It means that it gives the sensation that quietness, it can remember sunset or not. Or in some part of the day, you have the rectangle, orange rectangle, light the courtyard on the walls. That could work as a light show, but a light show that was orchestrated by the sun on the earth that is turning, like this thing. And inside you have orange light again, almost the same, more artificial, but it's orchestrated by a musician.
So it's very poetic. It's super poetic, huh?
Yeah, I love poetry. I love the mechanism of poetry, what it is. Like how when you take distance with reality, you can go much more far in the understanding of this reality, actually.
Yeah, well, you have a lot of history of very poetic works, but also kind of political charge.
Yes.
And you just, yes. And do you feel you have the same, or is it a little bit relaxed on that point now?
Are you feeling relaxed here?
It's
So
burned.
it's that. So I do not like when it's too frontal.
No.
It's really not my thing. I think art is stronger than just precise messages.
Yep.
And the idea is to how we go on with these different feelings. How we go outside the pavilion with a feeling of dramatic image, trauma, gesture, the joyfulness of a light show or the concert, and you go back, or you are living in your feeling with a sensation of joy and sadness, of beauty and destruction. And so this is this thing. So how you deal with opposite feeling. The world is very complex. The world is not like the good and the bad and the na. So it's really about how do you feel with living with this both thing in the same hand, how you can go through one to the other, but the most important is how you deal to accept that you have the both parts. Yeah.
It's kind of visible here in Venice. You have neighboring to a lot of, like you have Venezuela and you also have Russia. Mm-hmm. It's kind of evident in this small little city of everything on the same thing. So yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm. It won't help to say that we are a neutral country, I know, but art is a kind of a neutral space in a way. It's not only to give, we have to give a strong believing in what is art. It means that finally what is really the subject of art. And the thing I discovered by working and understanding how a musician works, we are doing the same. We are sharing feeling. We won't use the same tool, but we are sharing our feeling very simply and directly. The feeling that we get when we perceive the world around, and we have to give it in a very simple way to the people, because we are not exceptional. We are feeling the same like the people and everybody, but we have the ability to give it back to them and then say, oh, that's exactly what I felt. This is a common space. So this safe common space in museum or institution or in biennales, it's exactly where we can dig much more far this idea of the sharing of human feelings. It's paradox.
It's super paradoxical. Yes. It depends on how you're feeling. One day you can feel very cynical, and
Yes.
you go like, this is not, you know, and the other day you could go like this, and like
Exactly.
anything is possible, and it's so
Yeah.
beautiful the way you're talking about it.
Yeah.
It makes, you know, gives us hope.
Yeah.
At the same thing, you have like, oh, the other day, like,
Yeah, it's that you arrive, it's a traumatic image that something was damaged and destroyed. Then you go inside and you have the joy full of like lights, your body, the rhythm, the harmony, and you feel back the joy, and then you are going out again, and then again, and then how you do with that? Okay, we won't stop going into concerts.
we won't stop going to art.
Yes.
Okay. Won't stop reading poetry either. But will you take us on a ride? Will be silent inside?
Yeah. Just follow me.
So clever and poetic every time, every single time.
Bravo, thank you so much.
You are the one. So clever and poetic every time, every single time.
Bravo, thank you so much.
So clever and poetic every time, every single time.
Bravo, thank you so much.